Family businesses. Have you ever wondered what that is all about? Worry no more. Today it's our topic of discussion. Hi, my name is Claire Bwenje and welcome to the Kingdom Investment Month, brought to you by All Saints Chapel, Lweza. Today in our morning talk, we will be talking with Mr. and Mrs. Frank Muramura. Thank you. Wow, you're welcome. It's a pleasure and honor to have you here. Say hello to our viewers and briefly tell them about yourself.
Yes, viewers, you are welcome. I'm Frank Muramura. I'm a Muhororo. Sometimes they prefer to call us Bachiga from Rukunjiri. But we came to Kampala to do cheyo, to look for money. And in the process, we find ourselves doing some investments because we are with Kingsway Schools, which is Kingsway Nursery School, Kingsway Primary School, and Kingsway High School. But I'm also in clearing and forwarding, which we run together with our family members, and New Africa Cargo and Jofra International Forwarders. We are also farmers. In Rukunjiri, we do apple farming, where we run a 12-acre orchard of apples. We also are in cattle keeping, and we are in goat rearing, and we are also in bananas production. So briefly, that's who I am, but I do those together with my wife, Loy, who is here with us.
Wow.
Okay. Praise God.
Amen.
I'm Roy Muramura. Of course, what he has said, that's what we do. But for me, I sit at Kingsway Primary School as the administrator, and I thank the church for this program. It is really a good program. We have watched many series of videos and we were very much encouraged. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. Well, that was a very beautiful introduction, and as you introduced yourselves, you talked about Kingsway Schools and many other family businesses. Would you please share with us the story behind all that?
Well, the story is a long one. I'm not sure you want to hear the whole of it. Yeah, but it started long ago. At first, it wasn't intended to be a school, because while I was growing up, before my wife Roy joined us, I was doing some petty trade while in primary school, where I traded in groundnuts. And when I had finished secondary school, I joined Nkumba College of Commerce and Advanced Studies before it became a university. And while there, I used to have a small piece of land which was owned by my uncle, but we used it to produce amayuni, yams, and sugar canes. And I was responsible for that production and sale. And that continued until I finished university, because after college I went to university. And it was income generating. Later on, we did a store in what is now called Bugorovi Market. That time it was called Middle East, and it was empty land. So we are one of the first people that erected there the open air stores. We went to forest, picked a few reeds and trees here and there, and made a stand for ourselves, where we would get merchandise, sell during the day. In the evening, we would have to carry it away to Chiswa Market, where there was the city council built market, where we would store the merchandise until the following morning. So that's how our investments started at that early time. And later on, when I was employed and transferred to Kenya, it wasn't possible to keep running the mayuna and sugarcane, so that business had to close. And when we came back from Kenya, that's the time we really started thinking about investing in other businesses like a shop and also later on a school. But in the shop, we had I think they call it a store, a Modara inside the shop, because we couldn't have sufficient money or even stock to occupy a whole shop. So we had a small Modara inside the shop where we were dealing in stationery items and other office supplies. And it is from those savings together with earnings from employment that we used to acquire land on which to start a school, now called Kingsway Primary School.
Wow.
Yeah, and but the shop business was being run by my wife, so she is more competent to talk about it.
Wow, thank you very much, Dr. Isiolo.
Yes, indeed it was a shop, but inside many shops.
Wow.
You know, this arrangement where you are like 12 people in one shop and each one has a store.
Yeah.
But I was very determined to look for a business. I could go outside to companies and I ask whether they need stationery, whether they need cartridges, whether they need all office equipments. And they could give me the LPO, that is local purchasing order. Then I could take it to those people with big shops.
Wow.
Remember, by that time there was those Ken, Eliana, and you could present your LPO. Then they give you things, you deliver. Then after payment, you take their money, and that's how they use it to give me things on credit, and I returned their money. So that's how we started, and for sure it was a good business. By that time there were not many like now, and could get like 4 or 5 big companies, and you make a lot of money. And that money I remember very well. It was accumulated, and when we wanted to look for the land, that money was much.
Wow, wow. Wow, that's indeed a very, very beautiful story behind the family businesses, and we can only say that can be God. So from your good experience, what is the advantage of running a family business compared to the non-family businesses?
First of all, by the nature of the business, that's the family business, you can almost transact it anywhere, including your home. But another advantage is that you find it slightly easier to do what businesses do. Business people or entrepreneurs have some 3 things they do. They take risk, they save and invest, and also they develop trusts. Now, saving is easier to do in a family setting, as opposed to when you are different partners from different backgrounds, because most of the time you have some slight ideas about your levels of earnings. Then secondly, why I say there is some amount of risk. Trust and risk go together. When you trust people, you are risking that you may have misjudged their character. They could, on the outlook, look as if they are trustworthy, but you'll find that in actual sense, you may have misjudged. So there is an amount of risk you take. So we believe that it is better to take a risk with the family person than to venture out where you absolutely have no idea on character. Also, in running a business, you'll find there is a need for training. And which people are you training when you are running a business with others? You are training others. But if it is a family one, you are training family members. So it would be easier to have continuity because you are dealing with family members. But of course, even with family members, there is some amount of risk. You can also misjudge their character. But should you risk with the outsider or with the family member? Sometimes we say it is better to risk with the family member. And because there is training which impacts acquisition of knowledge, we thought empowering others is good, but what if you empowered your own family members? Isn't it even better? So that you can have continuity. So that's why we think that family business is better than other conventional business.
Wow. Yes, and even to add on what he has said, another advantage is when you are looking at the decision making, it doesn't take long because it's a family. You sit together and you agree, then you proceed.
Wow, thank you very much. I know a parishioner out there would be wondering, how best can one run a family business?
Of course, it is like you would run any other business, only that as Loy mentioned, decision making is somehow quicker because you'll find that these family members many times they live in close proximity, and some of the decisions they will talk about them informally and agree, whereas in other non-family business you would need a formal setting which can delay decision making. And how else you can run a family business successfully is to ensure that those family members who are participating in the business, they earn. They shouldn't just run it for sentimental reasons that they are family members. They should earn in the same way other people should be earning. And because they are earning and they can see that it is a benefit to the family, they will be encouraged to work more. Also, it is because it is a family setting, you have an opportunity to start engaging those family members early. Sometimes we have made mistakes of waiting until the children have finished university. Then that's when we invite them to start participating in the business. But when you look at other societies, especially the Asian societies and specifically Indians, although some people may be Pakistani and we think they're Indians, you'll find they have their little children in their shops as early as even 3, 4, 5 years. At first I used to think that they have no caretaker at home, or they didn't have money to pay for the caretaker, but I have since learned that the children are there for training. So that is possible in a family setting, because you will not go with a 6-year-old in another business which is not a family business. So we have an opportunity to start early, to engage the children early, even when they are still school going, at as early as even 5 years. So in that way, it is easier or better to groom people to grow knowing what business you are doing and get them interested. Because when you wait until they are finished universities, the interest could have been diverted to other areas which may not be the business you are running. So if you are asking how best, start early.
Wow.
Introduce the children early and encourage them to like what you do. Yeah, thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much. Well, someone once said that most businesses die at the hand of the owners. So how can one ensure the continuity and longevity of a family business?
First of all, I'm not sure what they meant at the hands of the owners, but one way to look at it could be that the owners divert money from the business. They see it as money to be used, not to be reinvested. That could be one way they were looking at it. We should learn, even when we are running as a family, we should learn to separate business from personal income, so that we don't go to the market and take just money from the drawer of the business and go and buy tomatoes. There should be a process of getting money from the business. If you are a salary earner, you earn your salary, that's what you go and spend. Don't just pull money out of the business. Then the other thing, I think the one who coined that saying meant, is that maybe the owner of the business or the one who started it did not empower those coming after him to be able to continue with the business when he can no longer be able to do it. And such a thing of inability to continue with the business can come in different forms. You can be disabled, you can have an accident, you can fall sick, and because you are sick and you haven't empowered anybody around you to know what you are doing, the business will collapse. So it is good to involve other people, especially your family members, and understand what you are doing, so that in those times when you can't do it, they don't struggle. And of course, another thing to consider is that when you are running it as a family, you should agree how at the level of involvement of each person. You don't all become cashiers and you all become purchasing officers. You distribute responsibilities the way in a regular company it should be, so that the business doesn't collapse at your hands, as they say. For me, that's what I think you can do to avoid collapsing of business.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
You have faced, or maybe some people face, in building a business owned by family, and how to overcome them?
The challenges are many, and therefore the ways to overcome them will be varied. One of the challenges is that family members will feel a sense of entitlement because the business belongs to the family, so they will want to use the resources the way they think fit. So there must be a system to follow. And some of them will get annoyed if they don't use the resources the way they thought they wanted to. Another challenge is the description of who are members of the family. Is it my father? Is it my mother? Is it my sister? Is it my cousin? You know, the families, we have what we call nuclear family and extended family, and each one of them may want to be described as a family member for the benefit of that business. And when you don't give them similar levels of participation, some of them will feel annoyed about it, and some can even sabotage the business. So that's a challenge when you are running it as a family business. How it can be overcome is to have a system run and put in place, so that you know what system to follow, and those who do not follow that system, you take the courage to discontinue them, despite them being annoyed about it, but you have to take the courage to discontinue them, because if you don't, then the business will suffer and may even collapse. So those are some of the challenges. Of course, the others are different levels of income, and therefore how much each family member should contribute to the venture. Sometimes it is income, yes, but sometimes it is the level of competence or knowledge. How much one brings to the business in terms of knowledge. That determines deployment in that business. And some people may end up being deployed where they don't think they wanted to be, but because of their competence, they are deployed somewhere else and may not feel good about it. But as I said, even in a family business, there must be a head of business who must take those hard decisions of controls, of making sure they are controls. So those are some of the challenges we see. How we overcome them, one is take those hard decisions when they are due. Secondly is to ensure there is continuous training. And sometimes people confuse training to be education in a formal educational institution like a university or secondary school. But you can have training, short-term trainings, either in seminars or in workshops, or even just attending a public, they call them what, a public speaking training. So we should continually try to empower members of the family to get new knowledge. Of course, you can also do your self development to read books which other people have written, or pamphlets, or even listening to motivational speakers either online or physically, so that you can overcome some of those challenges. For me, that's how I think the challenges should be overcome. And the challenges will always be there because it is like part of the natural process. Yeah, thank you.
Wow. Do you have anything to add? Okay, no. Well, thank you very much. It's indeed a great joy to have you here. I know as parishioners, we are really blessed to have you and also to learn a lot from you. Our time is really fast spent, and now it's time to give our parting shots to the viewers, and then we go out of this place.
Parting shot. I don't think it will be a short one, but one of which I pick out of the many that crowd my mind is that when we build businesses, whatever businesses they are, whether in agriculture, in education, or in trade, we should think long term, so that what we do today can be there or can outlive us. Because many times we put up permanent buildings and permanent houses, permanent, as in it lasts hundreds of years, sometimes running into thousands of years, but we never think about a system that will make the businesses we're doing also permanent. We can end up actually having no permanent business in the permanent buildings if we are not deliberate about it. That's why we say train your family members so that they are able to continue that line of business and even expand it. So the businesses we do should be as permanent as the buildings we desire to have. That would be my parting shot and my advice to fellow parishioners.
Wow, thank you very much.
Me, my parting shot is to bring the family members into that business so that it can go for generation and generation. Because the business we are doing right now, we have already involved some of our children. We have like 3 now in the business we do. So I don't know whether I have something.
Yes, of course, in the clearing and forwarding, for example, we are running it together with our son. He does the day-to-day running. At the Kingsway Primary School, we are running it with our son. And the real estate at Kingsway Apartments, we are running it with our daughter-in-law. And at the high school, we are running it with our daughter. So that is part of the plan for making sure there is continuity, even when we are unable to continue. these people whom we are already working with should be able to carry it forward so that it can live after us, because we usually hear about big companies which are very old, like Meta Group, Madvan Group, even we have Mukwano Group. You can think that the people who started them are still around. But when you do a background check, you find that they are somewhere in the third generation. And if it is possible for others, it should be possible for us. But whether we actually make it possible must be our deliberate actions to make it possible. Nobody else will do it for us. So for me, that's how we can ensure continuity after we have ceased to be on this world.
Wow, thank you very much. It's been a great time to have you here, and I know parishioners out there are really blessed. It's been a Kingdom Investment Month. From us, it is a bye-bye, and God bless you.
Bless you too.